And there came a day unlike any other, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Comics Daily from Scorcher Hill, hosted by Brian Keown and Matt Wood. From Scorcher Hill, this is Star Wars Comics Daily. I'm Matt Wood.
And I'm Brian Keown.
Welcome to episode 112 of Star Wars Comics Daily, Legacy number 28. Legacy number 28 was released September 24th, 2008.
Story is by John Ostrander and Jan Duursema. The script is Ostrander, the penciler is Duursema, and the inker is Dan Parsons. Colorist is Brad Anderson. Letterer is Michael Heisler, and the cover is by Travis Charest.
I like the cover a lot.
Yeah, Travis Charest is an awesome artist.
Does he do all the covers for Vector?
I think he does, yeah.
Okay, good.
Or at least he's got the cover of the trade paperbacks are both by him.
Celeste, what a fascinating character. Do we want to just go ahead and get into just what we're dealing with here, the Vector synopsis and all that stuff?
Sure. Yeah, the little intro to the first volume of the trades that I've got here is Mike Richardson basically just says, we were thinking about Marvel and DC have all these crossovers, and we're like, we could do a crossover. They'll give us some money. And that basically was the reason they did it.
Nice.
Because they had the 4 books going. It's Knights of the Old Republic, Dark Times, Rebellion, and then Legacy were all going at the same time, so they crossed them all over.
I mean, Star Wars comics had to be selling pretty well in order to do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's four series at a time. I don't even think Marvel has more. I say that.
They do. Until everything shut down, they were about to have 4 going. But I think that's the first time since
Aphra, Bounty Hunters, Vader, Star Wars.
Yeah. I think that's the first time we've had 4 ongoings. I mean, they usually had 2 or 3 ongoings and then like a miniseries going.
Yeah, that was more or less the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Well, no. Poe ended and then Aphra started, right? Or were they going concurrently? I can't remember.
Ooh, I think there's some overlap there, but not by much.
Yeah.
There always was a miniseries, and there's almost always a Vader comic.
Yeah, obviously Star Wars. There's always a Star Wars comic, and then most of the time there was some sort of Vader, but there was a pretty good chunk after Charles Soule left. They did that Target Vader, and they did those Vader, that miniseries with the one shots.
Yeah, around 2018, there's that whole period where they were doing like, Vader, Target Vader, and here were the Age of Republic comics, and here was the Han Solo Imperial Cadet comic, and there was a lot of like mini-series, Alphabet Squadron or TIE Fighter.
TIE Squadron, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called, whatever.
Yeah, but four ongoings, Dark Times, Knights of the Old Republic, and Rebellion. I'm assuming that Knights of the Old Republic launched shortly after or around the same time as Legacy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Knights of the Republic, that is Vector is volume 5 and Vector's volume 6 of Legacy. So Legacy actually started before it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure that they've done other Knights of the Old Republic comics though. But I don't know, maybe not.
I don't think so. I'm pulling up the Dark Horse reading order, and I'm looking at, what is this, around 2007, 2008? Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, something like that.
And yeah, those seem to be the only ones. Knights of the Old Republic, like you mentioned. I want to say that, yeah. I mean, there was other Old Republic stuff, but that was the first Knights of the Old Republic comic. Republic, this was the one I was really wondering about, but I guess Republic had ended around issue 83, and that was like the Clone Wars kind of comic. I guess.
Yeah, because that doesn't tie into this at all.
Yeah, so that was over by this point. And shortly after this, a bunch of Clone Wars comics would start showing up because that TV show had come out. And there's like adventure comics and all that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that there were 4 major Star Wars ongoings and that we're already, more 10 or more issues in.
Yeah, because Dark Times was because the way that they did these vector trade paperbacks, they didn't do like Legacy is 28 through 31, I think, in this thing, and they didn't do like a volume 6 regular trade paperback. It was just this Legacy. So like volume 1 of Vector is volume 5 of Knights of the Republic and volume 3 of Dark Times.
Oh man!
And then
boy!
And then part 2 is it's Rebellion volume 4 and Legacy volume 6.
So could you get all of Republic in one volume, or all of Vector in one volume?
I don't know. They may have done one later, but what I've got is I got it in 2.
Okay, so let's get into this. What happens in Vector? Because this is the last quarter of the Vector storyline.
Right. So in the Knights of the Old Republic story, it's like 4,000 years ago. They find the I've already forgotten what the thing is called that she wears around her
talisman.
Yeah, the Myrrh talisman. They find it in the middle of this battle with, I guess, the Mandalorians are fighting the Republic for some reason. And
that seems like something that's what's going on.
Exactly, right. But it's one of those where I was like, okay, that's going on, but I didn't really dig too deep in it because they don't have like what we think of as Mandalorian armor. They've got different kind of armor. But so they're fighting, and Celeste Morgan, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yes. She's a Jedi, obviously, and there's a Padawan that I assume is the star of the Knights of the Old Republic book. And they get into a wacky adventure, and basically there's all the rack. Oh gosh, I forgot what those guys are called. I didn't.
The rat ghouls.
The rat ghouls. The rat ghouls are running around, swarming and killing everything. And you get it in the Legacy comic, but when they bite somebody, they transfer the person turns into a rat ghoul unless they're force sensitive sometimes.
Of course.
Sure. So basically what happens at the end, they're like, by the end of it, they know that Karnus Mur is in the talisman thing, and he's kind of got control over Celeste because he wants to, get a Jedi body that he can control or whatever. But she's in control enough that she and the Padawan dude basically put her into suspended animation. And what he's going to do is he puts her in the thing, and he's going to like, I'll come back and we'll figure out how to get you out. But as he's leaving. As he's leaving, the Mandalorians like bombard the planet, and the whole he assumes that she's destroyed. It all gets buried.
Okay.
So then, it said it was 1,400 years ago. So what is that? 2,500 years later, somebody digs up that thing that she's in, and it kind of gets to be a like an artifact, like the old Lost Ark kind of a deal.
Ark of the Covenant kind of thing where it keeps being passed around.
Yeah, everybody knows that it's something cool that they want, but nobody knows exactly what it is. So it starts trading hands, and then eventually, in the Dark Times part, it's 3 months after Palpatine has taken over as Emperor.
Okay.
Vader gets a hold of it. He's looking for apprentices.
Boy, what a busy time period for old Darth.
Yes. So he finds it, and thinking that he's gonna open it up, and it's gonna have. He knows that the talisman thing's in it, and maybe it's going to be able to use it, like I said, as some sort of apprentice. And she instantly starts turning all of his dudes into rat ghouls, and he just basically just ejects her and dumps her on this planet, on this moon, to just to sit tight or whatever, basically just to get whatever. So now we jump to the Rebellion comic book, which takes place 9 months after the Battle of Yavin. And he's like, she might be helpful. What I can do is either I'll take her and she'll help me, or I'll let the rebels find her and she'll just infect their whole army. So he sends some troops down there, and obviously she just turns them all around.
Why would he rather have wrath ghouls than rebels?
What do you mean?
So if they become a rat ghoul, they're just a mindless monster?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, she can control them, though.
Sure. Oh, okay, that could be useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she has total control over them. That's one of the things is they bite you and they can transform you, or she can just do it with her mind.
Oh, that's useful.
When she first fought Darth Vader, when he gets into orbit around the moon that she's, or well, that's later. But she's basically she can do it from a distance. Like she's on the planet and he's in a ship and she's turning his dudes into raccoons.
Oh,
Like
so I
all the
assume that's why
stormtroopers,
like all the stormtroopers look like monsters. And,
right?
the skeletons all look like monsters.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the stormtroopers turn into raccoons.
Okay.
So yeah, he dumps her on the moon and leaves. And then, like I said, when it's time, when we're getting into the, after A New Hope, he decides that she'd be a good weapon either way. Mm. And so he sends some dudes down there, and they get all turned into raccoons. So
was he becoming one? Did they ever show like what Darth Vader as a Wrathghoul would look like?
No, because like I said, Force users are immune to it.
Oh, that's useful.
They can get bitten, but she can't just do it with her mind.
Oh, okay. So that's like the one. Okay, so Vader never got bitten because he's Vader. Okay.
Right, he's in full armor.
Okay, that's useful.
Right. I mean, there's some lightsaber battles and stuff going on because she is a full Jedi. She's got a yellow lightsaber. Mm-hmm. But then anyway, so Luke and Leia and Han and those guys, they all go to the planet thinking, because they've heard about it, and they're not sure exactly what's going on, but they know it's a weapon that either they need or they need to keep out of the hands of the Empire. So they go down there and they get attacked, and there's this dude with him that I guess he's supposed to be a clone. He's definitely from the Clone Wars, and he calls Luke General because in his day all the Jedis were generals and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so he gets turned into a raccoon, of course.
Of course.
And they get overrun by all these raccoons because there's tons of them on the moon, and Han and Chewie have to just leave, and they have to leave Luke and Leia behind, and there's a whole big thing where they fight, and Luke kind of helps Celeste kind of take control. And so at the end of that story, she just flies off with Carnus Mur. She's like, I can control you, so I will be your prison. And she just basically just flies off in this ship. And then, so 100, however many years later, that's where we find her. And
she's been cruising around for 100 years.
Yeah, I assume that the talisman thing keeps her young because she certainly hasn't aged any.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah.
And that's where we find ourselves today. Yeah. Well, let me tell you what happens in this issue.
Okay. All right.
This is the 9th chapter in the Vector story. In space, Celeste Morne?
I don't know. I was been calling her Morgan, but I didn't write it down what her name was. I didn't write a synopsis. I just kind of read it and just told it back to you in a, I'm sure, confusing way.
No, that's fine. But Celeste, I'm just going to call her Celeste, rides aboard the Pelion-class Star Destroyer, the Iron Sun. Her only companion is the spirit within her, Carnus Mur. He tells her that they will find another person strong in the Force for him to take over, no longer needing Celeste. Elsewhere, in the cockpit of the Mynock, Blue and Sin are discussing the imperfections in Cade's plan to assassinate Darth Krayt. The Imperial Jedi, Draco and Craig, are questioning if the other Jedi are stronger than they are. Outside of Cade's barracks, Aslan Ray is trying to reason with Cade about the betrayal. Cade is ignoring her. During his meditation, he sees an image of Celeste. After this, the Mynock is pulled from hyperspace and is caught in a tractor beam of the Iron Sun. Everyone gathers in the cockpit and tries to figure out what their situation is. Once they are aboard the destroyer, the gang splits up. Cade, Sin, Shadow, and Aslan go one way, the Imperial Jedi the other. Blue and R2-D2 stay aboard because R2-D2 needs something to do. Both groups find nothing aboard the massive ship but bones, skeletons of weird aliens. All of a sudden, giant monsters attack Cade's party. The Jedi ignite their lightsabers, and during the fight, Cade is bit and Aslan is scratched. Celeste calls the monsters off and introduces herself as a Jedi of the Republic. She sees that Cade and Aslan have been injured by the monsters that she now calls Rackles. She uses the Force to push Cade and Aslan into one cell and the monsters Sin and Shadow in another. She tells Cade and Aslan that they will slowly turn into the beast that injured them. She then goes on to introduce herself and Mur and her whole thing. Cade tells her about the need to kill Darth Krayt. She then offers to kill them so they won't change. In the other room, Shadow is attempting to jimmy the lock so that he and Sin can escape. Time is of the essence as the rat ghouls are about to close in on them. Sin calls out for Blue. who has left the ship and met up with the Imperial Knights. They're able to free Shadow and Sin. Cade, who is now changing, uses his force healing ability on himself and Aslan. During this, they see flashbacks of their childhood, and Celeste feels the balance that is within him. Within Cade, that is, pronouns. Now that all the companions are reunited, Celeste says that she is impressed with Cade's ability and will help him kill Darth Krayt. Mur seems pretty stoked about this. All right.
Her last name is Morn, by the way.
Morn.
Morne.
Celeste Morn. You know, it took Star Wars a while to have a character named Celeste.
Well, she's from the Old Republic, dude, so it was a more common name back then.
Yeah, it feels very much like a spacey name, you know?
Yeah.
What species is Mur?
I'm not sure. He definitely was even in the Old Republic, he was an ancient Sith Lord.
Oh, okay, so he's just been around for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's either died or put himself in that talisman at some point.
What a weirdo.
Yeah. He looks sort
like
of
a creep.
Sort of like, I don't know, like a devilish vampire type dude.
It says on Wikipedia that I don't think it gives the species. He was once a respected knight of the old Jedi Order, but that's about all I got.
Yeah.
Well, I felt bad for poor Celeste. Things are probably very, very boring.
Yes, he's been flying around in space for 100 years. Beyond even just being in suspended animation for 4,000 years.
Yeah. And now she's meeting up with this group of bros and weirdos and chin beards and death stick users and insecure Imperial Knights and ugh, what a group. But R2-D2's there.
Even though Sin treats him like crap.
I know. How insecure are these Imperial Knights?
Yeah, they're pretty lame.
This is something that we were questioning last week. It does appear that the Imperial Knights are force sensitive.
Oh yeah.
No, so that's the thing. But they don't seem to be very strong in the force.
No, I think they're definitely more focused on lightsabers and stuff. Because even that, they're like, "Oh, that Jedi's pretty good. We could totally beat him, right? Yeah, because we're Imperial Knights."
Aslan Ray, I guess. Did I just blink and miss something? I didn't. I knew that they were kids together, but I didn't know there was like a whole budding romance or whatever.
I think there was kind of a hint that they were possibly romantic, but
yeah,
they definitely were raised together. Same with Shadow, I guess, too.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, I guess, but
yeah.
So is he meditating in front of a death stick? Is this like when an alcoholic stares at a bottle and says, "I refuse to drink you"?
I assume that it says he tries to meditate, hoping to resist the temptation to escape everything by using the death stick before him.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that's what he's doing.
Fair enough.
He wants it bad though, dude. Look at him all sweaty.
I know. Well, it could just be hot on the Minoc.
Yeah.
But probably yes. It's probably.
Yeah. I assume that's to show him resisting.
Well, good for Cade.
Yeah.
Ugh. Who needs him?
Carnus Mur needs him, dude.
That's true. Yeah. It looks like Celeste is also very interested.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the better drawn. Duursema is really. I mean, we've already talked about it. She's a great artist. Mm-hmm. I think this is one of her better looking comics. I don't know why this one more than others, but for whatever reason, I really was impressed by her work in this issue.
I was too. Like I said, I read all the other Vector stuff today, and some of the art is better than others. But the last bit before this is Rebellion, and it's by Dustin Weaver, and I was like, wow, this art's really good. Yeah. But then I got to this and I was like, wow, this is actually even better than the Dustin Weaver stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's also like one element of, it's a mini series. You're trying to bring in new readers to all the titles.
Yeah.
So you tried to put your best foot forward. But no, I was.
And she did have a month off because 27 was that weird Garstasi issue.
Yeah, forgot all about that.
Right.
That
Because
insanity.
today, like I said, I read all that vector stuff and I started looking. I was like, oh no, I jumped from 26 to 28. Did I miss? Did I was I supposed to be reading 27? It's like, oh no, we already did that one.
Yeah, I did that one, and it was
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a good looking comic book. I do like this moment. This I didn't mention this in the synopsis, but this page with the Star Destroyer, the Minox getting sucked into it.
Hmm.
The whole. I sense more than just that. There's a Jedi on that ship, I think, or a Sith, and I think it's Draco. He's like, "Well, which one is it? They're very different. They can't. It can't be both." And then Cade's like, "Well, aren't I both?" And it's like, not
Yeah.
really, Cade. If anything, you're neither.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's probably neither, but I mean that is one of his things. Is we
Yeah.
talked about it in the last is that he's using the Force as a tool rather than he'll use the dark side or the light side however he wants to use it, which of course is a horrible idea.
How much did Rise of Skywalker rip off Star Wars Legacy? We've had this conversation, but there were some moments where it felt like, oh yeah, there's that balance thing. There's this force healing. Here's an old Imperial vessel that we're exploring the ruins of.
Mm,
It's similarities, I know, but
no, I was gonna say that's kind of a stretch. The healing, maybe I could see maybe the
yeah,
argument. And again,
yeah.
I don't know that it's ripping off if you own the stuff.
I know, but it's
Yeah,
one creator taking the concepts, I think, of another. But
yeah,
I don't think that's happening. It's just, I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like the Racked Ghouls, not having read the other issues of Vector, but I do feel
Mhm.
like they are one thing too much in this issue.
You think?
Yeah.
I was shocked at how much they got past it because it seems like I assume in the next stuff we've moved past it and she's just gonna help him kill Darth Grey. I
Yeah.
mean, she might use them. Like, yeah, I can already look flipping ahead. I see she's turning stormtroopers into dudes, but
Nice.
yeah, but
Are
yeah,
they
it
just like
seems like
super strong? Are they like super hard to kill?
yeah, they're basically kind of like it reminded me of like Aliens, the Alien movies, or
Okay.
uh, I don't know, just mindless vampires or something. Any kind of just mindless monsters.
But you can like cut off their hands and shoot them and stuff, right?
Yeah, because
Sure.
we do get a dismemberment. We do get one cut off.
Do we count that?
I don't know. You're not counting droids, so I guess not.
I, it's just weird when it's not a sentient thing.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid to. I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Yeah, just because Legacy doesn't need another dismemberment.
That's true.
It has plenty. Celeste could have called off these monsters way earlier.
Well, I think she is like it doesn't seem in some of the other stuff. It's more of a battle between her and Carnus Mur. Like even here, she said, as I felt you, I apologize for the attack. I lost control of him for a moment.
Oh, okay. So that she's referring to. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Man, what a jerk.
Because there's times where he completely takes her over. Like I think in some of the like in the Dark Time stuff, he's got total control over her body.
So that's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
There's no way that
Oh
doesn't
well,
show up.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's why. I mean, there's probably an argument that he's even letting her feel like she's got control until he can make
Yeah.
his move. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to team up with Darth Grade or something horrible like that.
Oh man, what a bummer.
Yeah,
um, I like her look, her design.
I was thinking about it at some point because it's the same outfit that she wears like the entire
Yeah.
whole crossover. So it's like she's just been wearing that for 100 years now.
Do we have any idea who designed her? Like
Uh,
who are?
I don't know. It
Let
didn't
me see
say.
if I can find like a behind the scenes on her.
Yeah, there's no
'Cause
supplement in the back of this stuff. It wouldn't blow my mind if they had Travis Charos do it.
yeah, So
Because like I don't like the artist in the Old Republic comic very much. He's very cartoony.
it is. Oof. I'm
I mean, it's not bad by any means, but
I'm
I
not
certainly
seeing
like.
I'm not seeing anyone say like, "Hey, this is the person who designed." I mean, John Ostrander, the writer of the Legacy series, explained. So I think John Ostrander created her, but he didn't design her.
Oh, if he created her, then it probably was Duursema.
I wouldn't be surprised. The first drawing of her was Scott Hepburn from Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, yeah. I assume she first appears in that Old Republic comic.
Yeah, but
Because that was another thing. It almost felt like she was a character in it before this Vector storyline, but I don't know if that's true or not.
so it says Jan Duursema, a fan favorite artist from the Legacy series, was the first to recommend bringing the rat ghouls into the story. Thanks, Jan. As well as being heavily involved in designing Morn's physical appearance. Okay, there you go. Duursema disclosed that the goal was for Morn to have a tough look in addition to having a sleeping beauty aspect.
All right.
So there you go. And that is from a CBR article written long time ago. Back when CBR is probably better than it is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get this nice little nifty page that kind of explains everything that's happened in Vector up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So how fast? I mean, I guess it takes like what, a good hour before you get like bit or scratched, and before you start turning into a monster.
I guess. I'm sure it's one of those where it's kind of just however the story works.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like in some of the earlier stuff they were changing a lot quicker than that. And if she does it with her mind, she can. I mean, it's pretty much instantaneous.
What does that even look like? Like she just looks at you like that kid in the Twilight Zone that sends people to the cornfield and it just boom happens.
Well, like I said, she didn't have to see you. She was doing it to Darth Vader's guys when she was on the planet and they were in their ship. So I think if she can just sense you with the Force, maybe.
Yeah, but she can't do it to Aslan. I mean, the only person she can do it to that she's seen so far is what, Sin? Because you said Force users are immune to that.
To that version.
Yeah. And there's no going back once you're a rat ghoul. You're a rat ghoul forever.
Seems like it.
Like when you're a jet.
I mean, we didn't. In the story that I read, there wasn't any. There was that one clone guy, but everybody else that got turned into him were just nameless people. They didn't. It wasn't like Luke got turned into it and then got sucked back in, turned back into human or anything.
Yeah, that'd be a bit much.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, Cade has the ability to force heal.
And I love that she tells the whole story, and then she gets to the end. It's like, oh yeah, it's sort of a disease. It's like, well, what? Why didn't you tell me it was a disease? And then he just goes boop, and he just does it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I could have done this though. All you're doing is just jabbering on.
Because they're bleeding out of their eyes and stuff. It's like, yeah, man, that can't feel good.
You have to assume that Cade probably should have tried that earlier, though.
Yeah, you would kind of think, but he's not the smartest guy in the world.
Right. I mean, obviously it's something biological.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like whatever. You're right. Cade's a dum-dum.
Right.
And so I didn't know Cade could heal himself. Have we seen that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. That's the
Although
Sith
I guess,
in him.
well, I don't know. I guess he's.
I thought the whole thing was like you're transferring your essence into someone else. So like him saving Aslan makes sense. Him saving himself, I don't know how that works.
I don't know. Maybe he figured out how to just pull it out of the ambient force in the air, or maybe he's pulling it out of her. I don't know. Since he's doing it at the same time.
Yeah, he's like all up on her and everything. So are we thinking that Cade's got to end up with one of these people?
Right.
Like Cade is like every woman is like, oh, Cade's so super hot,
I'm playing Final Fantasy Remake right now this weekend, and that's the same thing. Every woman in the game is all into Cloud, so
yeah, to the point where and you look at Cloud and you're like, ooh, him really?
Right.
Like old anime con over here. Okay, Cade gives me those vibes too. I don't think Cloud has a chin beard. Cloud has Cloud has like a lot of belts and straps and pockets and stuff, right?
He's got that, yeah, and he's got that crazy hair.
Yeah, crazy hair and like weird shoulder pads.
Well, he's only got one shoulder pad.
Oh, okay. That's
But it does have
that's better.
It does have weird bolts like into it, like 3 bolts.
Yeah, there you go. That's
He's awesome though.
That's smart because if you tilt your head to the side, you're gonna get a bolt in the side of your head.
They don't stick out that far. It's not like Strife's blade sticking out of him.
Okay. Once again, it all comes back to Strife.
Right.
Oh well. She's impressed. We're gonna kill Darth Crate.
She's impressed. It seems like old Murr is even more impressed though.
Yeah, well, Murr is just a creep looking for something to do.
Yeah, he's pretty excited about that dark side healing stuff.
Yeah, he heard about like all those Mon Calamaris getting killed. And he's like, sweet. All right, that's all I got for this one. You got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Tomorrow, we're going to be going back to Star Wars canonical land with Star Wars number 11, Dingar and Rancors and all kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
But that's going to be tomorrow's episode. From Star Wars Comics Daily, I'm Matt Wood.
And I'm Brian Keon.
And until tomorrow, may the Force be with you.